Bulls Nation, today we had a game against the Memphis Grizzlies without our best player, Zach LaVine, and throughout all the circumstances that the Chicago Bulls now face throughout the remainder of their season, it's going to be very difficult to find our wins and search for wins whenever they come. So this was another opportunity for the Chicago Bulls against, once again, a winnable team in the Memphis Grizzlies. We fought in this game, but we came up short in the end. So let's talk about the Chicago Bulls versus the Memphis Grizzlies in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Memphis Grizzlies game reaction. Again, a little bit over 24 hours since the news that Zach LaVine will be in NBA protocol for 10 to 14 days, and we have faced our first team in the Memphis Grizzlies without Zach LaVine. And what I asked in my last video was fight, aggression, and to fight for every possession like it is your last. And although that's not quite what we saw, we definitely saw, in my opinion personally, a little bit more effort, a little bit more fight, and a little bit more understanding of what this team can be moving the ball. And these are positives going into a big negative in the loss. But before we get any further, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls. How well or how poorly did we play today, and what are our chances once again of being in the play-in tournament? I'll continue to ask that question until we get some more answers in relation to that. The score for this game was 126 to 115. The Memphis Grizzlies picked up a big victory for them over the Chicago Bulls, and they are currently 2-0 against the Chicago Bulls, and we will not verse the Memphis Grizzlies for the remainder of the season. And as it stands, both games against the Memphis Grizzlies were a bit of a struggle for the Chicago Bulls, with Zach LaVine and without Zach LaVine. What I saw in today's game in terms of the effort, when you're seeing the good defensive plays and the defensive movement in the first half compared to the second half, there's night and day. The first half was leaps and bounds a much better performance for the Chicago Bulls. Offensively, we moved the ball. We continued to move the ball throughout the entirety of the game, and our offense was not an issue today. In most of the quarters in this game, we scored a lot of points, and the ball movement really helped in that. The starting lineup change allowed to get the best out of Kirby White in today's game, and he had a massive impact in today's game as well. And all the way around, the Chicago Bulls offensively played a very good game. But it was the defensive end for the Chicago Bulls in the second half that truly let us down. And more importantly, in the third quarter, again, if you look at the quarter-by-quarter play, it was very even for both teams. But in the second half, especially in that third quarter, the Chicago Bulls let that one slip. So again, this team right now, without Zach LaVine, is not the same team with Zach LaVine. We are a much worse team, in my opinion, without Zach LaVine. But we saw a lot more ball movement in today's game, something I haven't seen in a long time for the Chicago Bulls. We've seen better ball movement this season, but I haven't seen ball movement like that from the Chicago Bulls in quite some time. And most importantly, the first half defensive pressure on the Memphis Grizzlies was one of the best I've seen from the Chicago Bulls. Again, we let it slip in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter. Our defense ended up letting us down. And again, that's something that it just can't happen. It can't happen at this point of the season. It can't happen when you're playing your heart out to try and win a game. You can't let your defense end up being the thing that lets you down. If you miss shots, you miss shots. But the one thing that should always be consistent is the defensive effort on the team. And in the third quarter, again, we don't play 4 quarters of basketball. In the third quarter, we let it slip, and that's what cost us the game. Because I don't think the Bulls played badly today whatsoever. I really don't. I still think we're carrying people that simply cannot play good basketball right now. But other than that, I really don't think the Bulls played terribly. I don't know what our turnover percentage was today, but I really didn't see too many turnovers from the Chicago Bulls today. Another step in the right direction. With the ball movement that we played and the few turnovers that we did make, that is a big step in the right direction, and hopefully that's another key that we can continue to see going forward, and maybe we can pick up a little bit more victories. But again, I said previously, not too long ago, that we are struggling to keep to elevate players. We're struggling with players that don't want to step up to the occasion. We are struggling to get certain players the ball, etc., etc. And this is a big example in today's game of the same thing happening over and over again. That is something that has not changed. Not everybody is stepping up to the plate as much as we would like. And we're going to go further into that with the individual performance, but that is a key negative in this game as well. We cannot get all of our players involved, and that is something that needs to change if we're going to be a team that continues to push and continues to fight. At the end of the day, that's all I can ask for. I said that yesterday, and I'll say it today. All I can do as a Chicago Bulls fan now, knowing that we should have been in the play-in tournament well before where we are, but we should be higher than where we are. I think we all know that. But right now, that's the cards we've been dealt. We're not where we want to be, and in the end, we have our best player that is out. So what we can do now is just fight. Continue to fight. If you win or lose, put in the effort, fight for every possession. And when you're seeing a player like Nikola Vucevic, who's 6'11" or 7 foot, diving for the ball on the offensive end, trying to get an offensive rebound, that's the type of hustle I want to see. And we saw all the way around, from Patrick Williams to Ryan Arcidiacono, from the top to the bottom, we saw a lot of effort in today's game. And all it took was one quarter to take the game away from us. But in the end, the effort was there, and that's something I can't question in today's game. Let's go into the individual performance, why don't we? I'm going to start off with our two best performers in today's game, two starters, and definitely a very good sight to see for one of them. First off, Nikola Vucevic with 24 points, 6 assists, 14 rebounds. I thought he played very well today, Nikola Vucevic. Again, he is a perimeter-based center. He likes to shoot threes. He likes to be that pick-and-pop type of player. But Nikola Vucevic, for a few games now, has basically alienated half of his game, which is the post game. Apparently, according to stats, he is one of the best post-hook players in the NBA today. And neglecting that side of his game has been a big issue for the Chicago Bulls. We like to be a team that likes to cut to the paint, to score paint points. We're not a terrific three-point shooting team. And even in this game, we saw that. There was a stretch in the game where we were 1 from 13 from the three-point line. We're clearly not a good three-point shooting team, or at least a good, compared to maybe what we would like to see out of the Bulls. We are not what we should be on the three-point line. So we need to get the bulk of our points in the paint, mid-range shots, and in the post. And he neglected a lot of that game in the past few stretches of games. He has neglected that side of his talent. And in the end, I thought today he was in the paint a lot more. He was doing post hooks a lot more. And he took it to Valanciunas, and he took it to every center that was on the Memphis Grizzlies. He took it to them, and that is something I want to see a little bit more as well. Again, I like Nikola Vucevic shooting threes. Again, if he can make it, why not take it? That's my motto on the situation. But just because he takes a three-point shot doesn't mean he has to neglect the post hook, or neglect the mid-range, or neglect the pick and pop. You don't need to neglect all those things just because you're a good three-point shooter. And that's something I want Larry to do a lot more. Larry's a good three-point shooter, but he doesn't need to neglect the other side of the game. And when he does neglect the other side of the game, it ends up hurting him more than it does helping him. So that's a lesson for, I think, both these players to learn. But in the end, Vucevic is a much better performer at this point in time, and hopefully he can continue to go into the paint a little bit more. I think that's what we all want to see. We all know he's a good three-point shooter, and I'm happy for him taking three-point shots, but it's also the post and the post hooks and the paint production, and even the facilitating from the post. All of these things cannot be neglected if you're Nikola Vucevic and if you're the Chicago Bulls. Kirby White, 27 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Kirby White got his first start in what feels like a long time for the Chicago Bulls. And did he ever make a good impression? I wouldn't say first impression. He made a very good impression in today's game. The first time he started in a while, and he drops 27 points with 7 assists. And the most important thing, very, very few turnovers. Again, we all know the weaknesses of Kirby White is his defense, but hopefully this element of his game, the scoring side of his game, and the confidence in his game is what I hope he will continue to have throughout this stretch of games while he will be starting for the Chicago Bulls. Because in the end, 27 points is a great return for Kirby White. 7 assists for a playmaker that we don't believe is the main playmaker for the Bulls, or we need another one. 7 assists is a great return for Kirby White. And in the end, I love to see those things out of Kirby White. And I thought he played very freely today, which is the best version of him you could possibly ask for. I hope this is the confidence that he needs. This game alone can help him in the next few games, whether it's coming off of the bench when Zach LaVine returns or whether he starts. Maybe with no Satoransky, maybe Satoransky goes to the bench. I don't know the changes that need to be made, but we made a lot of changes into that starting lineup because of Zach LaVine, and Kirby White seemed to benefit greatly from that. So let's see if he can continue to do that. Again, we all know Kirby White's had inconsistencies this season, as has rookie Patrick Williams, as has Larry Markkinen, as has almost all of our players on this team. But hopefully this is the sticking point for Kirby White, because if we can continue to see games like this from him, we do have better chances to win. It's as simple as that. Now, Thaddeus Young had 17 points, 4 assists, and 6 rebounds coming off of the bench. I enjoyed his game today coming off of the bench. It almost looked like the old Thaddeus Young. He took a 3, I believe, in this game as well, and he made one. But outside of that, I'm not a big fan of Thaddeus Young shooting too many threes. And I've said that millions of times, and I will say it in today's game. But again, he made one, so fair play to Thaddeus Young. But the post game is where I like Thaddeus Young. The facilitating part of his game is where I like Thaddeus Young. The defense is where I like Thaddeus Young. I came into this game thinking, why is Thaddeus Young not starting? Why is Daniel Theis playing perimeter defense? Daniel Theis is clearly a 10-time better rim protector than he is a perimeter defender. I think we can all say that with a level of confidence. But Thaddeus Young's game off the bench today was absolutely sensational, and I really think he helped the bench production for this team, which in the end didn't seem to be too much coming out of, I guess, the players you want to have your bench productions, like a Larry Markkinen. And in the end, Thaddeus Young picked up a lot of steam, and as did some of our other players as well. With that being said, Troy Brown Jr., 11 points and 1 rebound. Again, he got a few fouls in this game. And again, for someone that I think many people want to be starting at point guard for us at this point in time, I saw a lot of very costly turnovers from him, or at least one very bad turnover. In the end, that doesn't define if you're a point guard or not by turning the ball over once. That doesn't mean anything. But I've said it before, I said it yesterday in a comment, I would like to see Troy Brown get a starting place for at least one game for the Chicago Bulls, and to see if he can truly help this team defensively and offensively in the starting lineup. But again, he did play a very decent game today. He was bringing all the effort you could ask for. He was cutting into the paint defensively, even though with the foul calls. All I can ask for is an attempt on defense, considering we are one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Troy Brown definitely helps us on the defensive side. And I liked his game today, and I know he could do better. And again, he's only 21, which is the brightest part of this game and him being on the Bulls. He's only 21 years old, which means he does have room to grow, and he can be so much better than what he is. And that is the best part about Troy Brown on this team. And that's the best part of the effort that he brings, because again, it shows that he has the work ethic, and it shows that he's willing to get better, and it shows that he's willing to help this team. And in the end, if you're going to help this team, you're going to get a lot of respect back, likewise by everybody. Denzel Valentine, 11 points, 1 assist. That's a decent game for Denzel Valentine as well offensively. Again, he always brings the effort. Even defensively, he brings the effort, even though he's not a technically good defender. He brings a lot of effort on that side. So I can't complain about Denzel Valentine either in today's game. And the people I didn't mention, I'll just say their points total. Patrick Williams had 6 points. Daniel Theis had 7 points. I actually thought Daniel Theis played very well, considering he is out of position. Garrett Temple had 5 points. Great to see him return today as well. Very solid game from Garrett Temple in the starting lineup. Larry Markkinen had 3 points. Disappointing, but I did like his 4 assists. And I believe Ryan Archidiakono, I can't see how many points he had. And then obviously we saw Felicio Dotson. We saw a bunch of players coming off the bench later on in that game. And in the end, that was the box score for the Chicago Bulls. That was the individual performers. Now, the must improve. Before I go into the must improve, I do want to say one thing. Patrick Williams, he had 6 points, 1 assist, 6 rebounds today. Patrick Williams got 4 of his points in the fourth quarter. I think we need to use Patrick Williams a lot more. I think he's too talented just to be sitting in the corner and asking for the ball at any given time throughout the game. I think he needs to be a little bit more aggressive. I think he needs the ball in his hands a little bit more. And I think he needs to take his own responsibility and willingness to be aggressive and to be the guy for the Chicago Bulls. In the end, we can never do with enough scoring. The more scoring we have, the better. And Patrick Williams, we've seen throughout the course of the year, can be a very effective offensive weapon in the mid-range, in the paint, and those corner threes. But in the end, he's stagnating a little bit. And again, I don't know if it's the rookie wall that people like to talk about, or I don't know if it's his unwillingness to kind of take responsibility on the team, or maybe it's the fact that he doesn't believe it's his time yet. I don't know the situation for Patrick Williams. But every single game I see Patrick Williams standing in the corner being wasted on offense, is every single game I get frustrated. Not only with him, but with the Bulls as well. So I want to see him being used and being put into the offense more. Call plays out for him. Let him do a pick and roll every now and then. Or let him be the one screening in the pick and roll. Let him do something except for standing in the corner. Because that is definitely wasting his opportunity and wasting his potential as well. He could do so much more than what he's doing. And again, it comes down to the responsibility of Patrick Williams and the responsibility of the Bulls, Billy Donovan, and the rest of the players to help him elevate his game, because we know he could be the future of this team, but we're just not seeing the best out of him, and I really think he could do more. But the must improve for me is probably going to be Larry Markkinen. Now again, 4 assists for Larry Markkinen, considering he's not an elite playmaker by any stretch of the means, and his assist totals will show that. 4 assists for Larry Markkinen is a very good return. But again, this is the guy, and again, with a bunch of guys, he is one of those guys where Zach LaVine is out, he has to step up. And I've already been saying it for a month now at least, that Larry Markkinen needs to step up. He needs to be a 16 to 18 point per game scorer. Even coming off the bench, he needs to be scoring a lot more than 3 points, 6 points, 8 points. He is our best bench player. I truly believe that. Offensively, he is our best player. Maybe not overall, but with the offensive talent that he has, he is our best bench player. I saw him in the post once today, and that was great. And the fact of the matter is, we got a 3-pointer out of it. People are going to double team Larry Markkinen in the post. The Memphis Grizzlies double team Larry Markkinen in the post. And with that being said, why not go into the post a little bit more? Nikola Vucevic goes into the post, good things come out of it. Larry Markkinen can go into the post, good things come out of it. Thaddeus Young goes into the post, good things come out of it. We are a good post-game team. We need to use that to our advantage a lot more than what we do. And Larry Markkinen's involved in that. Again, you're a good 3-point shooter. I understand that. Today was not your best 3-point shooting game, and I understand that. But it doesn't mean all you do is take threes. It's as simple as that. He needs to find other ways to be effective on the court. If your threes don't work, drive into the paint every now and then. Go into the post every now and then. Be effective in other ways. Be unpredictable. I don't think Larry Markkinen has that to his game, but that's something he needs to add to his game. And again, we don't have much time to see what's left of Larry Markkinen. In the end, if he stays on the Bulls, we're going to have a lot of work to do on him. It's as simple as that. But if he doesn't stay on the Bulls, these are still elements to his game where he still needs to learn. It doesn't matter where he is. So hopefully he can learn those things with a Bull in a Bulls jersey, and maybe he'll be worth keeping towards the end of the season, next season as well. And that's my must improve. My player of the game, I know Kirby White had a terrific game in today's game, and he probably, for many people, this is probably the best Kirby White we've seen in a long time, probably since the first half of the season. But my player of the game is probably going to go to Nikola Vucevic. At the end of the day, I truly liked how well Nikola Vucevic played in today's game. And again, I know many people are criticizing him for his lack of defensive effort. I don't think that was an issue today. Again, if you're looking for a comparison with Valanciunas had 16, 5, and 7. So in the end, I really thought Vucevic outplayed him, which is something I did not see in the first game against them. Valanciunas owned that paint the first time we versed the Memphis Grizzlies. Nikola Vucevic played much better over Valanciunas today. And I think overall he is a better player than Valanciunas, and we saw it in today's game, and I think he is our player of the game. But I really have to give that respect to Kirby White, where if you pick Kirby White, I salute you 100%. At the end of the day, only 1 turnover, 7 assists, great return from Kirby White, and this is the best scoring game I've seen from him in a long, long time in a Bulls jersey. So fair play to Kirby White, and hopefully the consistency of this performance can reign over multiple games, and we will have those chances if we're able able to see the best out of Kirby White in Zach LaVine's absence. The Bulls' record is 22-33. We are 11 games behind 500. I think it's safe to say with around 17 games left, we are not going to get to 500. I think we can all accept that as a fact now, and we can move on from trying to be a 500 level team, and we can try and see what is actually going to happen going forward. We've actually fallen out of the play-in tournament as of this recording. We are the 11th seed now. The Raptors have taken our spot in 10th. I believe they must have beat the Orlando Magic for that to happen. So again, we are now one game behind the Toronto Raptors, and we all predicted this, did we not? We all predicted that the Bulls would fall out without Zach LaVine. It's going to be a very testing time. And again, this win would have kept us in. It really would have. It would have kept us in that play-in tournament. But right now, we have fallen out. We are the 11th seed. And we have urgency now. Our spot has been taken from us, and now it's time to see how the Bulls respond. The next game is a back-to-back against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the second game of a back-to-back, and I'm hoping the Chicago Bulls can deliver on that first half defense and offense for 4 quarters against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And if we are able to do that, I truly think we have a chance to win that game as well. But again, we have a lot of games that can be seen now as not winnable for the Chicago Bulls. Again, we have Boston, not too far away. We also have games like the Heat, the games like the Bucks, the Hawks, 76ers. You know, these types of games where it's going to be difficult for the Chicago Bulls. But let's put it that way. Let's face it. Let's call it a fact. We are in for a very difficult ride right here. But if we are managed to overcome this stretch of the season and we make that play-in tournament and we end up showing that we are a gritty team, we do fight back, we do have the effort to go and be a good team in the future, then I think I'll be very proud of this team. But again, only time's going to tell. This loss hurts. As usual, every loss now hurts. But I can't question the effort. And that's something I'm not going to question in today's game, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It still hurts, and it will hurt for a long time probably. But hopefully the game against the Cavs, we can get a victory. We can snap this losing streak that we're on, and we can move on to better things for the Chicago Bulls. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Let's see what we can do. Take care, and peace.